to help them degazette 10 acres of and is a land that is already occupied by government itself. So it's government to government. So when I see members, like for example, I saw nominee 001 vehemently opposing and saying that government is grabbing, well, I thought it was a bit insensitive. Where he comes from, for example, he would be very happy to say, let's take care of Mau. And if you go to his land, he has absolutely no tree that he has planted, not a single one. Now, this is what we are saying, Mr. Speaker. We must learn to be honest with each other. Everybody must participate in conservation of forest. It should not be left to some specific communities or areas. It cannot be left to the people of Mount Elgon to take care of forest on behalf of the rest of us.
I'm not sure, Honorable from you want to. What is the intervention for? You look quite agitated.
Mr. Speaker, nobody can believe that the member, the Honorable Deputy Speaker is referring to, has never planted a tree. Imagine. Never planted a tree, Mr. Speaker. I have been to his home, yes, and I have seen trees. He has planted trees on his land, Mr. Speaker.
If you saw trees, you can't be sure he's the one who planted.
He planted the trees, Mr. Speaker.
I have no reason at all to have a problem with a very senior member of this House. And I know the truth. He has actually been to a place called Osim, or Nosim for that matter, where my good colleague here lives. And I have been there myself. And I am a conservator. I know about trees. I have lived inside forest. I know trees that are planted and those who grow which grow on their own. I know what my honorable colleague has done is to actually build a house on top of a tree, utilizing trees. It is a benefit that he gets by using a tree that has grown over a long period of time, and he built a honeymoon house up there using the tree. And that is exactly what I am saying, that we must be able to benefit from the trees so that as human beings, we are also tempted to protect that particular tree. So when Honorable Wamunyinyi says he's been there, I have been there myself and ate some very, very nice meat in his house. And he's my friend, and he knows it. And we have been very close. And when I say that he has not planted trees, I know what I am saying. What I know is that in his compound, there are some trees that grew, and he has been able to manage them, but he did not plant them. So what I'm just saying, and on a more serious note now, Mr. Speaker, what I'm just saying is that forest must be able to be of use to human being in terms of when you conserve, you know there is some benefit. Where I come from, which is Kuresoi North, we plant trees, and therefore it's as good as our cash crop. So we harvest them when they are mature. Otherwise, they will be destroyed. They'll go for nothing. So we harvest. Unfortunately, most of the time, it is not the locals who harvest those trees. The licenses are given to people who are from distant areas. But that is not a story for today. That's for another day. What I'm saying today is that these people of Mount Elgon have suffered in a long time. And my good friend, Honorable Wamunyinyi, knows that in those particular areas, there have been even security issues. You remember there is one time that there had to be deployment of military, not police, military personnel to go and take care of them, and yet it is about conservation of their own land, which they have conserved over a long period of time, which they have been able to manage, and therefore we should allow them to enjoy the benefits and toil of their sweat. This is even biblical. Even for nothing else, it is biblical. When you plant something, you harvest it. It is in the Bible. And you know I didn't write the Bible. I found it there. Now, this is what I am just saying, Mr. Speaker, that as we castigate these people who have conserved forests for a long time, we must also be sensitive that they are humans and they are supposed also to benefit in terms of direct use of that land so that they can be able also to grow economically like every else of Kenya. By the way, I do not think the government or any other institution compensates them for keeping the forest. You know, a government like Kenya can be compensated by being given something called carbon credit. But carbon credit has not gone to individual farmers and individual human beings who live in those forests. These are things that we need to consider. These are things we need to consider so that when I have land, like I have some land myself, I am given an opportunity to plant trees for taking care of this environment on behalf of the humanity. That is what is critical. So what I'm just saying, and I'm very happy that these people, and by the way, this is a government, this is the Ministry of Environment, this is the government, this is executive saying, I think these citizens of ours deserve this. I think that is a very key thing. It's good. It's a constitutional phenomenon that came out of the 2010 constitution. And therefore, they have taken that advantage. As in Kuresoi, we were not very greedy. We decided, and we were asked, is 10 acres going to be sufficient? We said we don't need more. 19 acres has been cleared. Government is already occupying it. We don't want the entire 19 acres. We want actually to help government plant 9 acres. But we don't want to use another amount from government to go and buy land far from where it is. It is in a town called Kuresoi. We want to build a DO's office. We want to build DC's office. We want to build county offices. We want to build agriculture offices. And in only 10 acres. And somebody will come here and say, no, never. Don't give them. And yet, we are not even the ones who participated in clearing that particular forest. So that is why I'm saying what these people have done is good. What the people of Kuresoi have done is very good. By not asking for 1,000 acres to settle even some of the other people who are landless. We have said first, before even we go to the settlement issues that we need to consider, let us first take advantage and have government come closer to the people so that we can be able to speak to government and tell them, look, there is something more we require. So those are the kind of things that we are saying are good, and it's good. So I beg to wind up my contribution on this and beseech members that kindly allow the Mount Elgon people of very small, of a very small community, the Ogiek, very few people. Let them benefit. Let us utilize. If we want to get to 15%, by stopping the Mount Elgon people from utilizing that small land, it does not give us the percentage that we require. We would probably be taking, I do not even know what kind of decimal to use, an extremely negligible decimal. Let us see ways of trying to conserve environment. We want this environment to benefit human beings, and therefore we want to plant trees. We want to see those areas that are supposed to be conserved, we conserve them, but those ones which the human beings are supposed to utilize, let them benefit from it. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Very well. Let's have